What is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode brought to you by the League FFB. Today, we're going to be talking about my top 36 running backs heading into week 9 of the fantasy football season. Already dropped the wide receiver version of this episode today, so if you haven't checked that out, go check it out on the channel after this video is finished. But with that said, I don't want to waste too much time. Let's hop right into today's video and let's start talking about these running backs. All right, so we're going to be kicking it off here in Tier 1. Tier 1 is going to be those elite RB1s. We do have two players only in this tier. For me, it's Jonathan Taylor and it's Christian McCaffrey. We don't really need to talk too much about either of those guys. These guys have been dominating. However, you do have a good matchup for Christian McCaffrey, who plays on the road at the New York Giants. Right now, they are ranked 29th against the running back position, giving up 4.9 fantasy points above the expectation. So it should be a very good opportunity for Christian McCaffrey to hop into this game, take advantage of this defense, and score, a little bit of a high scoring week for us here in our fantasy football leagues. Let's go to tier number 2. Tier number 2 is the high-end RB1s. I got a total of 6 players in this tier, starting it off with Josh Jacobs, and I have Jahmyr, Gibbs, Achane, Derrick Henry, Bijan Robinson, and then I also have Javonte Williams here as well. This is the entire tier 2 for me, so there's a lot of guys. 3 matchups in particular I want to talk about. The first one's going to be with Achane, who does come in as my number 5. He has a good matchup against Baltimore. It's Thursday Night Football. The Ravens are ranked 28th against running backs right now, giving up 4.2 fantasy points above the expectation, so it should be a good opportunity for Achane in this one. The same thing can be said on the opposite side of the ball for Derrick Henry in that Thursday night matchup, where you have him playing on the road at the Miami Dolphins. Right now, Miami is ranked 26th against the running back position, giving up 2.5 points above the expectation. So both of those players at the running back position in this Miami-Baltimore matchup on Thursday Night Football, certainly worth getting into your fantasy football lineups, and I have them both as top 10 plays. Now, another player in this tier that is a little bit lower than normal, you see him at number 7, it's Bijan Robinson. He gets a tough matchup on the road at New England. Right now, they are ranked top 5 against running backs, giving 4.2 fantasy points below the expectation to the position. So it is tougher for Bijan Robinson in this matchup. Not like we're going to be benching Bijan Robinson, though. Still a high-end RB1 in my book. Let's go to tier number 3. Those are the low-end RB1s. I got 4 guys here. It's DeAndre Swift, Kyren Williams, James Cook, and then I also have Jaylen Warren rounding out this tier. You get a good matchup here on the road at Cincinnati for DeAndre Swift. It is a smash matchup. When you look at it right now, Cincinnati's ranked dead last against the running back position, giving up 10.7 fantasy points above the expectation to that running back group. So I do think this is an awesome matchup for DeAndre Swift, where he could go nuclear for us if he gets a couple of touchdowns to go his way, because Cincinnati has been that bad against running backs. Now you get James Cook in this matchup versus the Kansas City Chiefs. It is a tough matchup for James Cook. Right now, Kansas City is ranked 6th against the running back position, allowing 4.2 fantasy points below the expectation here for running back. So it's tougher for James Cook this week. Still, we always expect fireworks when it comes to Mahomes and Josh Allen seeing each other, playing against each other. We expect big things. There could still be a lot of scoring in this game. And James Cook, if he gets a couple touchdowns to go his way, we're still very happy about that. Let's go to the safe running back 2s. That is my tier 4. I got a total of 6 running backs in that tier. We're going to start it off with Kimani Vidal, followed by Chase Brown. Travis Etienne is here as well, with Tyrone Tracy, Ashton Genty, and David Montgomery as the safe running back 2s. 3 matchups in particular for this one. Kimani Vidal gets a good matchup on the road at the Tennessee Titans. They are ranked 30th right now against running backs, giving up 5.9 fantasy points above the expectation. So he had a pretty good week the last couple of weeks here for the Los Angeles Chargers. Should be able to stack that here against the Tennessee Titans in a very positive matchup for him. Chase Brown also gets a good matchup in this game. Right now, the Chicago Bears are ranked 25th against the running back position, giving up 1.9 fantasy points above the expectation. So very solid matchup for Chase Brown. It is going to be dependent on Joe Flacco. Right now, we did get some news that Joe Flacco is battling a shoulder injury at this point in time, so we're going to keep an eye on practice reports throughout the week. If Joe Flacco misses, Chase Brown is going to move down the rankings, but for right now, I'm operating as if Joe Flacco plays in this game. The last player I want to talk about in this tier is going to be Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty, coming in as my running back 17, has a matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are currently top 7 against the running back position, giving up 3 fantasy points below the expectation. So it's a little bit of a tougher matchup here for Ashton Genty. Still, I think a safe running back 2 play based off of the volume that he's getting here in Las Vegas. Let's go to tier 5. I got 6 running backs in this tier. These are the fringe running back 2s here in week 9. I got Kenneth Walker, followed by Ramondre Stevenson, Zonovan Knight, J.K. Dobbins, Rico Dowdle, and then I got Alvin Kamara here as well as the last player in this tier, and that rounds out my top 24. So a couple matchups here. A lot of them are tougher matchups in this tier. Zonovan Knight is the only one who has a good matchup. He plays on the road at Dallas. It's Monday Night Football. Right now, Dallas is ranked second to last against the running back position, giving up 6.2 fantasy points above the expectation. So Bam Knight should have the opportunity to give us a pretty decent week here as a streamable RB2 type of play here in week 9. The bad matchups in this group, it's going to be J.K. Dobbins on the road at the Houston Texans. Right now, they are ranked top 8 against running backs, allowing 2.5 fantasy points below the expectation. So a little bit of a tougher matchup here for J.K. Dobbins. Same thing can be said for Rico Dowdle, who we did get the news that it seems like they're going to be moving back to Rico as the RB1 in this offense. However, he gets a tough matchup this week on the road at Green Bay. Green Bay is top 3 against running backs, allowing 6.6 fantasy points below the expectation. So it could be some tough sledding for Rico. And I don't think that Chuba Hubbard is going to be forgotten. I think he's still going to be worked in. It's just going to be a larger workload for Rico. Alvin Kamara is another player who gets a tough matchup in this tier. On the road at the Los Angeles Rams, they are second against the running back position, allowing 6.7 fantasy points below the expectation. So tough for Alvin Kamara in this one as well. And he's a little bit banged up coming out of this last week. So we'll see how that fares over the course of the week and these injury reports. Let's go to tier 6. Tier 6 is the low upside RB3s. I got 6 guys in this tier. At 25, Woody Marks, 26, Kareem Hunt, 27, Tajay Spears, 28, Zach Charbonnet, 29, Aaron Jones, and then 30, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. 2 matchups in particular I want to talk about. The first one's going to be Kareem Hunt's matchup at Buffalo. It's a good matchup on paper. Right now, Buffalo's run defense is ranked 27th against running backs, allowing 3 fantasy points above the expectation. Obviously, going to be no Pacheco in this one, so Kareem Hunt gets a bump. I think he's a fine RB3 play. The problem is he's not going to get a lot of PPR points. I do think that's going to be Brashard Smith, who we will talk about here in the next tier. The other guy that I want to talk about in this group is going to be Aaron Jones. He gets a bad matchup on the road at Detroit. Detroit is top 4 against running backs. Still going to be mixing in with Jordan Mason, but right now the Detroit Lions are giving 5.3 fantasy points below the expectation to the running back room, so it's going to be tough for Aaron Jones in this one. Now, my final group here in the flex plays, it's going to round out the top 36 for us. I got a total of 6 running backs and definitely some matchups to talk about. We got Brashard Smith in here at 31, Trevion Henderson, Tony Pollard, Kyle Monungai, Samaje Perine, and RJ Harvey to round out this tier. Kind of some matchups we've already talked about. Brashard Smith, like I said, good matchup for him on the road at the Buffalo Bills. Right now, 3 points above the expectation. Going to be the PPR guy in this offense in the short period of time. That maybe this running back room is in flux. I could definitely see Kansas City being a team that goes out and trades for somebody here shortly. The other players that I want to talk about is Monungai. Like I said, against Cincinnati with DeAndre Swift, smash matchup potential for him. Monungai could sneak into the end zone in this one, and I think that matchup is good enough that he is a flex-worthy type of play. Perine also gets that good matchup that we had with Chase Brown against Chicago. 1.9 fantasy points above the expectation. He's been getting mixed in as well, so definitely a flex play, but he doesn't have a lot of upside. And then RJ Harvey, bad matchup that we had for J.K. Dobbins against Houston. Obviously, Harvey had 3 touchdowns last week. That's not going to be expected out of Harvey this week, but he could be a second half sleeper, a flex play this week. I do think a player that probably, if I'm looking at trying to put these guys into my lineups, Smith, Henderson, Pollard, Monungai, all those guys, I think there's some wide receiver plays that are better than these flex plays here this week. All right, so there you have it. That is my top 36 running backs heading into week 9 of the fantasy football season. Like I said at the beginning of this episode, we already did the wide receiver version of this video, so if you haven't checked it out, go check it out right now. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. That way you don't miss any future content. If you found something today informative, entertaining, and or actionable, do me the favor and hit that like button. It is the best free way to show this channel some support, and go join our free Discord. We do have a free Discord linked in the description, helping you guys with those fantasy football teams 24/7, 365. But with all that out of the way, I have nothing else for you guys today, so I will see you on our next episode. But until then, peace out.